toys in the chair and
Oh, yeah, let me move that over.
Oh, you're recording?
Yeah, yeah. I can trim it.
Okay.
We're fine.
Trim it.
Trim the hedges.
Okay, so.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome to Rob Sucks. I'm your host, Rob, and I suck. And my co-host, I guess you could call him, is Greg McGee.
That's right. Good job, Rob.
He is the composer.
You don't have to do all that. You can just say co-host, man. You're all right. I don't need all that.
No, you're good. Like
but that's too much.
You're good. People need to know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end, though. Like I was saying, my music, follow me, and
our Patreon at Rob Sucks.
It's too early. Too early.
Oh, I forgot.
Pulling the trigger way too early.
Oh, I forgot.
We have to follow the format we've never set up or discussed, but that I am projecting onto you that you must do, because that's what I'm comfortable with, Rob.
Okay, this is getting... I can't analyze stuff like this. All right, so we got to talk about friendship and feelings.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right.
Should I back up? Am I too close?
You're fine.
Okay.
These are things you should have... We talked for like 10, 15 minutes prior to the podcast even happening. You didn't mention the chair, and you're worried mid-podcast.
I didn't even dress. I forgot to wear a collared shirt. God, this is...
Look, hey, we're Twinkies today. Look at that. Look how sweet that is. You have a little pocket too?
No.
No, I got a little pocket.
Okay, so...
if I don't have that, maybe I don't know who I am.
I don't know if you know this, but I've been talking about transgender issues all day.
Okay. I have not noticed.
Okay, so the thing is that I made a joke. And I always get in trouble for making transgender jokes, but I do them anyway. But I made a joke that I was like, how come... What is on my eye right there?
No, it's cancer. Just move on. Come on.
Okay. I was like, how come transgender people don't acknowledge that it's weird to cut your dick off? And then I was like, if I was transgender, I'd be like, I'm weird, but, I want to get fucked by a hot stud. I'll turn my penis inside out, and I know. I'll tell everybody, It's weird. I agree.
You agree with yourself. It's good. It's a good base.
I agree if I'm transgender that it's weird, and I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna.
Who are you agreeing with? Who's saying that it's weird originally? You? Yeah, I agree with that guy. Like, that's a cardboard cutout of yourself you're standing next to. Like, yeah, he's a really smart, intelligent, good-looking guy. A little two-dimensional, but he's a good-looking guy. Nice. Yeah. The cardboard cutout's two-dimensional. That wasn't a personal attack on you, Rob. I'm sorry. You look like you're a little offended.
What are you talking about?
So you made your joke. You made your joke. That landed really well with a lot of people. Obviously, that joke.
It did. I did it at the open mic tonight, but it was different. It's always different.
Well, right. How did you craft?
It killed.
How did you craft it though in your set? What do you? Because you can't just come out and say, "Oh, it's weird transgender people cut off their dick." Like, most people aren't going to find that funny. As a cold open for a Facebook post. So what did you do for your set? Is that what you opened with? because that's actually a solid opener. Like that is a good.
You think so?
Yeah,
Dive right in.
one of my favorite openers was a recent Netflix thing. Kyle Kinane was on as like the stand-ups or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And he opens with he's like, "Let's talk about mass shootings." Like that's where he goes from the get-go, and like just starts making fun of that shit and everything else. You know, I love that shit. I love those cold, hard opens. That is dive head first in that shit. That's
I never
great.
thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I should open with the most vulgar thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you definitely obviously have to phrase and have the right flexion for that to land well. You can't just be like a seething lunatic, like it's weird to be like.
You know what I opened with? The guy before me was talking about eating ass. So I opened with, I was like,
how come nobody calls it tossing salad anymore? That was such a fun term. And everybody's just like getting real dirty with it. I mean, I understand it's a dirty thing.
No,
it's in a dirty place.
He said toss salad.
All right. But I mean, but in general, people were just like eating ass. Like, what's
Oh, yeah,
what's wrong with the fun?
Popular anymore.
What's fun with the I don't know. Throw a little dressing in there, you know. All kinds of euphemisms. Now you're not using any imagination. What happened to imagination? People got to porn and imagination went out the window. That's what it is. Porn has ruined us. You know, there's a good majority. I have a hard time watching porn anymore because you come to find out like the majority of those people are doing it because of like molestation or like trauma from earlier in their life. And it's just like, fuck, man, I can't watch that in good conscience. And it doesn't. It's so weird.
I like goth girls.
That's fine.
So I opened with.
That's right.
I hate girls that shave their pussy but don't shave their ass. Like, I was going down on this one girl, and I went down, and it was like an old growth forest. It's like America or France, pick a team, bitch. You know, you can't do one and then not do the other. That doesn't make any sense. Like, keep the hair or shave it all off.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pick a style.
Right. Either a woman or a baby. Pick one.
It's like I opened it up and it was like an ass scallop, you know, just all this fucking little tentacles coming out.
Oh yeah. A little bit of lint. Probably not that much hair. I get lint in my ass. I got ass.
Shit gets stuck in it, you know?
Well, sure. I mean, it's shit. It's gross. Unless we collectively as a society start using like bidets or anything to help wash your ass, you're going to have toilet paper and poop there majority of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's your ass?
It's real hairy. I like it. I can't remember who said this phrase, but it's like cleaning peanut butter out of a shag carpet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean that's about what it is.
Okay, so let's talk about.
I get belly button lint too. I dig that out daily.
We need to bring this on a friendship.
Dingleberries are pretty consistent. Not every day, but consistent enough. I'm very thorough with that. I hear some people use like soap and water to clean after. That's just too much. Unless it's installed into my toilet.
Shut up.
I mean, hygiene's an important part of mental health, Rob.
It's boring. Shut up.
You brush your teeth daily, Rob?
Yes.
Twice a day?
You know,
3 times is really too much, isn't it? It's expecting way too much.
You know, my brother is on meth, and he's super paranoid. He thinks every girl can tell he has a small penis even through his clothes. I'm like, maybe you should be more paranoid about your black teeth that are falling out of your head. Like, how come meth users can get distracted by like change on the floor for 2 hours, but they can't tweak out on some dental floss for a minute? That's my bit.
Yeah. That's good shit.
That's my stepbrother. He looks like Charlize Theron in Monster, except without hair.
I don't know that movie. I don't know.
She looks like my stepbrother in that movie. She looks horrible, but somehow she looks like my stepbrother.
Drugs are crazy.
It was crazy.
I had a crackhead jump in my car once, a town I grew up in. She jumped in. She needed a ride somewhere. So I pulled my knife out on her to get the fuck out of my car. She got the fuck out of my car.
Yeah. I had a trainee get in my car one time. A trainee hooker. It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah, you were desperate.
Damn, I just had a big thing of earwax come out of my ear.
We're just talking about hygiene. Have you ever heard of that?
Wait, we gotta
thing?
talk about
Hold on.
friendship and feelings.
Have you ever heard about that thing where they put the candle in your ear, like the wax thing, and it pulls it out? You ever seen or heard of that shit?
Oh, they drip hot wax in your ear?
No. Like they put like a cover or something like that, and there's like a candle that the heat extracts the wax out of your ear like naturally, like like how heat makes things pressurized and stuff. Like it's not painful or anything, but it's supposed to be. I've seen videos of it. It is grossly satisfying to know that all that shit is finally left in your dome. But from my side out of, I think, why would you don't want to remove all that shit. That keeps part of your ear safe,
boring, man,
from particles entering your
We're not
head.
talking about anatomy.
But I've got this poster and a skeleton in the back. I had ready. I was gonna put on a lab coat. I was gonna do like a whole segment thing. Are we not? We're not on board for that.
Okay, so let's talk about friendship.
All right.
And
My Little Pony is a great cartoon.
No,
can't be
silly. Don't be silly, all right?
I'm not silly. I love. Shit. My Little Pony. I've got one of the characters. Discord.
That's not your.
Right here. This is fucking mine.
And this is mine. Not from My Little Pony.
It is. He's Discord. He is an interdimensional thingamajigger who travels around and causes chaos. I've also got a guy from Troll Hunters. I've got toys. I'm 35 years old.
Are those really yours?
Absolutely. I've got a few of them over there. I've got Cyclops, a couple of Wolverines, some Darth Vaders, Luke Skywalkers, more Wolverines, and Blinky, again from Troll Hunters, which is the same place the giant troll-like creature was there, and Colossus from X-Men.
Dude, I don't want to hear about this.
I mean, I thought I was your fucking friend. We were trying to share our little secrets. Our nooks and crannies.
Why don't you collect cool toys like Transformers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Like, you collect, what the fuck is My Little Pony and Troll Hunters?
Okay. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal.
It's not.
Funny shit. It is. Have you ever watched it? Are you just shitting on it because you think it's a little girl's TV show? Is that what you think it is?
It is. They're making...
You're. You know what? Maybe this is why you don't have many friends, Rob, because you're so eager to pass judgment upon things you don't know about. Maybe you should experience the love and magic that is My Little Pony before you become all jaded and unloving.
That's offensive. And Tara said that I was pathetic and alone today, and it hurt my feelings.
I didn't say you're pathetic. I think you're a pretty great guy.
Aw.
And I am your friend, Rob.
I'm your friend, too.
But if you shit on My Little Pony, I'm going to try and hit you where it hurts, son. Friendship is magic. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
All right. And what the fuck is your problem? Go watch some when we're done here. Go watch the first couple episodes of My Little Pony. And you tell me if you don't fall in love with the magic personality that is Pinkie Pie. She is phenomenal.
This is why we need a guest here.
You know? Fluttershy.
if we had a guest on here, we would not be talking about this.
I would be forcing My Little Pony onto the other person as well. That is.
Dude, I think Jared Levin's going to come on. We're doing it Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And he's a surf instructor, but he's like a total, like, stereotypical dude, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Bro. He does all this wild stand-up, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah. Like, like today he got on the, I forget what his bit was about, but he's like, I don't let the postman's not going to bring me my student loans because I bark at him like a dog. And then he gets on the floor on all fours and he's like, for like that long. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah. So yesterday I had an appointment with my doctor, eye doctor, right? It was a good conversation. He ended up breaking it to me that I needed to hear it from a doctor, right? A medical professional that what is wrong with me is going to take a while. Might not ever figure it out. I needed to hear that from a medical professional. I've been told not just by you, but other people as well. But it was nice. That's what I needed to hear. So as I'm processing that, kind of going in a negative spiral, just by happenstance, a friend of mine, his name is Jay, was just randomly checking in to see how I was doing. So it kind of pulled me out of that negative headspace of just being real harsh on what, the what if game of, what if it, that kind of shit. I was going to not a positive place to be in. So yeah, friendship is an important thing, man. Sometimes it's just coincidence that things kind of work out for timing, but knowing as well that people are in your corner and give a shit helps tremendously with, for me dealing with, depression or whatever transition in life I'm going through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, you just gotta accept it. And hold on, I gotta get Bob.
What are you doing to Bob?
Bob, come on. Come on.
I don't think Bob's being a dick.
My roommate's trying to sleep and he's like barking. He's barking and stuff. You can like trim this part out, right?
Yeah.
But so anyway,
I probably won't, but yeah.
Okay. That's well, I was just gonna say that you can't worry about it, man, because it'll drive you crazy. So you just gotta. It's gonna be at a day at a time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait for the doctor's appointments, and
I mean, I get all that. It was just that, for the 5 months it was going on, there was like a week and a half, 2 weeks where most of the symptoms were either minimal or had mostly dissipated, right? And it came back this last week, full throttle, and it just sucked. So it's just going back into that transition of being in that mindset. It's nice to have folks around that you can just discuss how shitty you feel or whatever it is you're thinking, to either express your trouble with emotions or to get your mind off of it. Like not even think about it or worry about it. Like that's also important as well, to take a break from that cycle of depression, anxiety, whatever it is, right? That concern. Yeah, it helps. I like doing podcasts helps, even though I'm talking about it, obviously. But when we're not talking about it, just not having my mind on it helps. Exercising helps. Doing the music. Those are the things I use to help cope with, whether it be the negative thoughts or sometimes the pain, is to get distracted mentally somewhere else if I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about friends and family. Yeah, that too. Um, uh, that's instrumental for me to stay positive and go forward. I'm very fortunate though. Um, I've got a ton of people in my corner. A lot of people don't have that luxury or that benefit, and not that they've earned that shitty environment. Maybe their environment was being around a bunch of shitty people, and now because they've isolated themselves from those shitty people, they don't really have any other outlets to go. So maybe they're isolated and they don't have those companions to.
Yeah.
That's a rough spot to be in.
That was me, man.
Yeah,
That was me in 2014.
it's a rough spot.
I isolated for a year. The only time I left the apartment was to go to the grocery store, and I couldn't talk to anyone except my girlfriend. It was dark as hell.
Yeah. Well, and it's not something you realize while you're in it. It's out of hindsight. Maybe sometimes while you're in it, you realize you need to get out of it. But even then, you don't realize the severity of your own isolation until you're on the other side of it, which does happen. The longest isolation period I had was in my late teenage years. I had a bunch of friends, kill themselves. I attempted suicide and all kinds of other shit. My grandpa, who was like my dad, passed away. It was a bunch of shit all within like a year's time. Um, Shit. What was my train of thought? Oh, went to a really dark place. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. Oh, asshole. Why is he being in it? Is there a rat?
He hears the neighbors.
All right. But yeah, I went to a very dark place, isolated for a long time. So I understand what it is to do that and coming out on the other side of it. But, trying to avoid that pattern as a 35-year-old who's been through that a few times. My own depression cycle. Like, I understand what it is.
Yeah.
Not that I can get out of it, but as far as what's healthy to do to get my mind off of it.
I had terrible depression, suicidal depression, until I finally got on these meds.
Yeah.
And these meds really keep it in check. Like, I still get depressed, but nowhere near as bad as I used to. I used to get depressed for weeks.
It's a rational amount of depression, yeah.
And now it'll just last a day or two, and it's manageable,
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it really is the meds working,
Yeah, it's the imbalance, right? Like, there's a chemical, that's what it is. A lot of people talking about, oh, it's a stigma that people like. I have friends or family members that take medications and they live in more conservative places that are more old school, and they'll be like, oh, you're on something like Lexapro or something like that, right? Like something real mild as far as the spectrum of things you can get involved with there, and they'll be like, oh, that's just Satan working his magic. You don't need to be on the doctor's medicine. And they still believe that is like a symptom of being crazy or, something wrong with you mentally. It's not a chemical imbalance. Like, there's not an understanding of what it is. And that process to find those medications suck too. I was temporarily schizophrenic, had manic depressive, had real bad anxiety episodes, all kinds of shit. And going through that for years of finding out medications of what works, what doesn't, makes you feel horrible. Some things make you feel on the upper side, on the lower side, indifferent. Like, it's such a shitty roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend that I was going to bring on, he does ECT, which is electro, shock therapy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he just stopped it, and he got on a different medicine, and he's just said he's been super depressed. And then I asked him if he wanted to hang out or get on the podcast, and he hasn't responded. So I was gonna try calling him tomorrow and maybe go see him.
Yeah, it's really hard to stay positive because that mindset, especially during the medications, the way
he has bipolar 1.
Oh yeah.
I have bipolar 2. So bipolar 1 is like you get this high. So he'll get the mania, and he'll go off and do just crazy shit. And then he'll get the low. So he has it really bad. He had to shock his brain and shit to try to, because otherwise he ends up in the mental hospital.
Right.
Like he his wife has the number to call when he gets manic.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very
There's a
real
number she calls to
Yeah.
go like get him and put him in the mental hospital or whatever, or the hospital. So
Yeah.
it's a real thing, man.
Yeah.
If people don't think it's fucking real, I mean, some people don't, but when you meet people,
I mean, it's no more of a chemical dependency than it would be on like just to simplify it, right? Of like a caffeine or an alcohol. Like if something your body, and just think of like that transition, right? Like you think of like the chemical imbalance in your head versus like an alcoholic just trying to go cold turkey and quit. Like that, you can't do that. Like your body can't function certain ways without the proper amount of chemicals to make things balanced. You know, I mean, you've got to have that correct balance as well as that transition into it. If you're lacking a certain chemical in your brain, you know, you're not producing it enough, and then all of a sudden you get a sudden charge of the correct amount you're supposed to have, and if that's a lot, that can be sometimes more detrimental to the depression and anxiety stuff than what it's meant to do. You know, you've got to give it time as well to let it settle in, and let your body adjust.
yeah,
It's really hard because then you're trying to figure out, well, is it I'm adjusting to the medication, or is the medication not working, and I'm sensitive to it, because some people are sensitive to medication.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. They put me on Seroquel and Celexa, and I had bad like rage side effects. So that was pretty bad, and it didn't help. It didn't. I still was like suicidal, and I ended up getting kicked out of my apartment, and I had to live in my. That's when I had to live in my car.
Yeah.
And but Greg, you don't know everything.
I do pretty much know everything. Pretty much everything.
Well,
I'm very confident
how do you feel?
that I know nothing. I feel happy. Oh, so happy.
I feel
Merry
better.
and glee.
I've been live streaming all day and talking about trannies.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
that's made me feel better. Like,
All right.
Like trannies, like, I don't know. Like people get mad when I say they're weird, like they really freak out about it. But I don't have anything against transgenders. Like I worked the door at a transgender show, and like,
I let people in to see them.
ask
I'm
them those
fine.
questions. I ask them those questions. They're like, I was like, did you hear about they take part of your stomach out to make a vagina out of it?
What are you talking about, man?
When they do the operation, they'll
No,
take
man. They get those candy lips from the like the gas station and just slap that shit on there, yo. Your body absorbs it and
That's
grows
hilarious.
around it. That's what it is.
The candy lips.
You know, there was a bit by Michael Che, because I think it's important to a degree, right? If something bothers you, it's good to communicate what bothers you and how it makes you feel, right? That's important, right?
Right.
Obviously, that is to a certain point or degree as far as your expectation of what's to be done with that, right? But in general, if maybe calling you skinny, gay retard really offends you, despite the fact that you are a very skinny, homosexual, handicapped individual, right? So, from my understanding, there's a Michael Che bit that goes to the fact of he said something to his transgender friend about a tranny, and he or she goes, it'd be no different if I called you a niggy. He's like, all right, point taken. I get it. So transgender is, I think, the proper term. But if you say like the transgendered people, or like, it just sounds weird, right? The role of it.
Somebody just said that transgender is not the right term.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not.
But what it is, who cares?
I don't know. Everything changes all the time. Like, I give a shit, and it's hard for me to keep up to the point where I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty left leaning before Trump and all this other shit, right? Like, just naturally, that's where I go.
Right.
And like the way things are going now, like it's way too far to the left. Like it's going too much.
It's
like I
way
understand
too far to the left.
I understand you feel a certain way, and it's good to communicate how you feel.
Yeah.
But you also need to understand that like people don't give a shit. Like the large majority of people from your day-to-day interactions don't give a shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they're from an older time where that's why they don't give a shit.
They shouldn't give a shit.
No, I mean, like, I want you to call me X, Y, Z. Like, I don't care. To me,
yeah, it doesn't affect them.
And to me, it also depends on the intention, right?
Yeah.
Like when I
do open mics with them, and I ask them all about it. But if I go on Facebook and ask a question about it, you're a fucking bigot.
Right. So when I was a kid, I used to play on my front porch. I had a big front porch. Right?
Yeah.
You dig me? And I grew up.
Yeah, bro.
In the South, good old Texas.
Hell yeah.
Small town. And so I often heard the phrase porch monkey. I don't know if you're familiar with that phrase at all.
Oh yeah, we got that in Florida.
So yeah. I identified with the phrase of, I'm monkeying around, playing, if you will, on the porch, right? So I associated that with just playing on the porch. I had no idea. Now, this is gone well into like junior high, where I'm playing school athletic sports. I'm playing football. This is like 7th, 8th grade. And guys like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, oh, I'll probably just be porch monkeying around. And it's all my black friends that, my teammates and stuff, right? And they're like, I don't think you know what that means, man. You're not using that the right way, and you shouldn't be saying that to us. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm be hanging out on the porch. You guys can, come by and just, hang out. We can throw the ball around. They're like, it's not what that means, man. It's not. That's not what that phrase means at all. I'm like, oh, I'm very sorry for that.
That's so crazy that you didn't know what that was for so long.
Right. But my point is that because of my environment, it was normalized, and I didn't have the context as to why it meant what it meant. And until somebody rationally, they weren't offended or pissed off because I understood the context that I was using the term in. I didn't understand the weight or gravity of it. Once I did, I stopped using it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you make that claim that, hey, this bothers me, and it's clear that message has been accepted by the general public, and you're still going after the tiny few that aren't doing it or not doing it the way you want, it's so trivial, man. Just mind your own fucking business and go about your day. Go pay your bills, raise a family. Don't correct my speech if I'm not doing like hate speech and trying to like purposely belittle you.
It's mostly like liberal straight women.
I'm not. I mean, it's guys too. I mean, it's really no different.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's definitely that mindset.
There's a guy attacking me in CLC3 today, which is a Facebook group for those of you who don't know.
Nobody gives
he was attacking me about my joke I made about transgender, and of course, like his big burn is, oh, wait till you get funny. I'm like, oh.
But you need to realize as well, I mean, it's no different than, like a Louis C.K. doing a Parkland shooter survivor joke. Like, just by the nature of the joke, you're going to get backlash regardless. It's
Yeah.
how you navigate that joke and
Yeah.
the premise that it's under, right? The pretense that you're telling that joke under.
Yeah.
To me, doing that on Facebook is not the best way for that joke to work out.
Right.
I mean, that's not. I understand you enjoy the interaction from that kind of shit. In the context and where you post that shit is usually, even your feed is contextually correct to do that in. It often baffles me when people are like, oh, I can't believe you would do this. I'm like, obviously this person doesn't know Rob very well. Because I have the same outwardly approach. Like, I'll say some outlandishly shit, but have a completely different mindset of what I actually believe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm very compassionate and shit, but, as much as I self-deprecate for myself, I think I'm a giant piece of shit. I think everybody's a giant piece of shit. Everybody. I project that onto everybody. We're all flawed. We're all fucked up. We all have skeletons in the closet. The moment you act like that's not the case, that's the moment you start getting angry how people phrase your identity, right? Like, to me, that's what it is. To a certain extent. Again, like I just said, I believe that's warranted. If it's something that it was warranted a discussion, blah, blah, blah. We've already discussed the rational side of that, but yeah.
Wow, man, you must have had a good talk because you're on fire tonight. You're like the professor of social interaction.
Oh, I thought you meant my crotch, because I've been trying hard not to itch that this whole time. It has been on fire.
Why?
Lava down there. Just lava.
Chlamydia?
I stuck it in the cat litter box again.
It's warm in your house, isn't it? You keep that shit at like 85, don't you?
No, it's like 70, 72. But it gets it's wintertime here, so it hasn't been above freezing in like almost a week. So 70 is typically where we keep it.
Feels hot. 72 feels hot.
72 right? Is all right during certain hours of the day. So it's either 70 or 72 during the wintertime. During the summertime, it'd be like 65 and 70 is where the thermostat is set. You know what I mean? Like, it stays somewhere in there.
You're blasting the AC.
No, it doesn't get that hot.
In Florida, we used to keep it on 76, like 70. Like, my dad would.
Maybe it is higher. You're right.
I think my dad would complain when I turned it to like 76, but he'd keep it at like 78 or 80. I was like, God damn, that shit's hot.
I don't think it's 72. I think that seems awfully cold. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, 72 is pretty.
I've got my numbers wrong. I'm really bad with numbers.
Yeah, I know.
But I've got yours, Sonny.
So how do you feel about it?
What? 1920s robberies? I mean, I think it's a really neat.
What are you playing? Red Dead Redemption 2 or something?
No, I just did the Sunny thing. It just reminded me of that. But I think it's neat to see the transition of technology and how we apply that, right? Like, you see, like, bank, you can't go rob a bank anymore. You can't just go nab some money from your local saloon, bash the bank, the fuck out of there. You're done for a couple of months. You can't do that shit anymore. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That used to be a viable way and means for some people for such a long time. Think about historically how long life happened before closed circuit surveillance systems, right? That's just, even on your front porch, you can't go steal a package anymore. Fuck?
I say this all the time, but I steal stuff from the grocery store and self-checkout.
You should definitely openly talk about that on a podcast. Allegedly, you do that all the time.
I'm just
allegedly.
Kidding. I don't do that.
It was a joke.
That was a joke.
He's a comedian.
But I always talk about that. I'm like, eventually the robots, we're going to be under surveillance all the time. The robots are going to out of there.
Jesus.
Sorry. The robots are going to they're going to take over. They're going to become sentient. I mean, that's the future. And then maybe they'll leave some animals behind, and then the animals they leave behind will have to evolve, or they'll just kill all life except for machines, and it'll be like a machine planet.
I mean, that's a possibility. Sure. It seems like an awful lot of things had to specifically fall in place for all that to happen, though. And it's almost like there's no resistance from any other outside force to your AI counterparts there. It's interesting. It's interesting.
So, well, if it gets to the point where there's artificial intelligence in like a mech, you
don't feel like the adaptive nature of humans will be able to overcome the creation that we made.
Exactly.
You don't think we could overcome that? You don't think we could adapt, survive, or thrive?
I'm not sure.
See, I don't think that'll happen. I think space exploration and colonization is going to be where it's at. I think we'll make things where it will be environmentally. You got your crazy fucking wacko thing out there. Let me get mine out there. I think we're going to have like little floating cities in the ocean, because the whole planet is going to be basically an ocean at some point in the future. And because we have those domes, we're going to isolate, have like biodomes, right? We have like biodomes, and I think we'll colonize on like the moon and different rocks, or just have like floating space cities with like lines or tethers to the planet to bring resources back and forth.
Yeah.
Because they have that, right? They have like, they're working on like a tethered elevator that goes, it is attached to our crust, right? The Earth's crust, the dirt shit, rock, and it's long tether that goes up into space, and it would hold whatever object we have up there. It could be a satellite or a home or whatever, into orbit with the planet, so that way it stays in the right spot the whole time. Yeah, that's what I think. Space stations, stuff like that.
Yeah, I could see that. But I was watching a documentary on space like right before this, and they were showing other parts of space, other galaxies where the planets go into the stars and destroy the stars, or the stars destroy the planets, or like a comet or a meteor will hit a star or a planet and totally destroy a whole planet. But our solar system is very stable, and Earth around the sun is very stable. Like if it goes a little bit towards the sun or a little bit away from the sun, it'll burn or freeze. So like we would have to go out into space and find a place that's stable, and like what are the chances of that? I feel like Earth is an anomaly, so you'd have to really search the fuck out of space to find another planet that's habitable.
They do. They actually, those planets are called within that zone you're talking about for the perfect orbital. They're called Goldilocks zones. That are likely to have biological life like we understand it to be. And we send little cameras up there all the time to get there in, 20, 40, 50, 80 years from now to send us pictures back. So, I mean, we do have that idea. We're aware of that, like NASA, stuff like that. We as a civilization are aware of that. And we do look at those. There are planets that are made of water we found, and things like that as well. Mars has ice on it. Also, did you know that
Pluto
daily? I believe it's either daily or annually. We get 100 tons of space debris, like dust, comes into our planet daily or year. I think it's daily. It's a shit ton.
How much?
Like it's 100 tons. I can't remember if it's daily or weekly, but it's
no way.
I guarantee you.
It's not daily.
Guarantee. It's a ton.
It's not daily.
It is 100 ton, and it is very frequent.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. We're just to add to your point of the space. We're just floating out there at the whim
You think
of.
that's how planets are made? Like the gravity forms dust together, and then.
Sure.
But they were calling asteroids. They said asteroids were leftover material from when the galaxy was formed.
Yeah.
Or the universe was formed.
Well, I mean, it's still forming. It never stopped. It's still growing.
And the asteroids and the comets go very fast. They go slow until they hit near a sun or something with gravity, and then they go very, very fast.
Well, because there's no friction. There's no. Yeah.
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 So that's
But,
and then when they go very fast, and then they'll hit a planet, but most of them miss.
Yeah, but you've got to remember a lot of the times that that speed they'll have for a long time. Like they might get that push from like a planet to yank them like that slingshot effect. And once they're out there, they maintain, or maybe I don't think they can increase the speed, but they'll maintain that speed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at the moon. That's what they're.
They go billions and billions of miles, so they'll keep that speed for.
I mean, they light years.
However many miles, like millions and millions and millions of miles.
Light
but
years.
Then they'll slow down until they get to the next system.
Or whatever it is. They don't even slow down in the system because of the gravitational.
No, they speed up in the system.
Right.
Because the gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's black holes. And the black holes tear space open. And how the fuck is that?
I believe
What's
they grow
on the other side of the black hole.
I believe a black hole grows into itself as well. I think I read that somewhere. It's a recent discovery. I keep up on my science shit, man.
I see that.
Yeah, yeah. I believe they're theorizing it grows into itself as much as it goes like outward and sucks things in. It's also growing into itself. Crazy shit. Weird. Crazy shit.
I don't know. I'm gonna quit comedy
time and space, man.
Holes.
What?
I'm gonna quit comedy because there's black holes.
I mean, there's brown holes, white holes, black holes. I don't know why you're being so prejudiced about what kind of hole you're getting. But we all have preferences. It's a weird transition you made there, though, Rob.
Well, I've never had a black hole.
No? Okay.
So,
what about black hole sun? You ever had one of those?
No, just in the 90s with Soundgarden, but
that was the reference I made.
So what do you think about which cereal mascot would you fuck?
I don't know. It would definitely be it'd probably be Captain Crunch. He just seems so jolly. He'd be so happy the whole time, during, before, and after. He probably pays well.
Who would you rather fuck? A Cocker Spaniel or Jim Morrison when he was like fat and in Paris?
The singer, Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
From The Doors?
Yeah.
And what was the first option?
A really nice looking Cocker Spaniel.
I mean, I don't know. Can I have a little bit of both? Can we just have like a three-way?
No, you gotta pick one.
Because we could both put peanut butter on or nuts and just let the Cocker Spaniel get us aroused.
You gotta pick one and give a reason, okay? You're fucking up the whole game.
Maybe what we could do is what is that? Like do it like a pig on a rope.
I'm leaving. Bye.
Stick our dicks each side of the Cocker Spaniel and then turn it. Just drench it in like milk. That's what we'll do. So Rob, if you wanted to tell people how they wanted to keep keep our podcast thriving and maybe even improve over time?
Yeah.
How would they do
Wow,
something
we
like
went
that?
long,
We
57
did.
minutes.
People are that excited that
They're
they get
excited.
privileged to an extra 5 to 10
They've
minutes.
been donating already
Yeah.
to our Patreon. So
Dumping a lot of good wishes in there.
you go to Patreon and you just create your own account.
What?
And then
I mean, you type in Rob Sucks.
yeah, you type in Rob Sucks and it goes right to it.
Do you have anxiety, Rob?
Yeah. And
then so you don't think this shit through before you say it? You don't have my kind of anxiety, I take it? I run. No? All right. You need to get better anxiety. Go ahead.
So you go to Rob Sucks on Patreon and then you donate whatever you want. Like we need people to just donate dollars to be nice to us and
hey, remember how I told you earlier when I was talking to Bob, I told him not to beg. He's better than that. Don't fucking beg. Say, hey, we got a Patreon. Go check that shit out. You can also hit us up at Google, Gmail, and here's some peanut butter.
Dude, please.
Whatever. Come on.
No, please.
All right. Go ahead.
You gotta
beg.
give us $1.
Look desperate.
No, I'm serious.
I just need $1. I need a job. My kids. I'm out of work.
We gotta get our goal.
I am very low on cash. You should send us money, people. So is Rob.
He's a cripple and he's out of work.
Well, I've got a job.
I
don't work very many hours.
He doesn't work as many hours. Come on, guys.
It's a physical labor job, and I use a walker now.
Rob Sucks on Patreon.
Yeah.
Also, you can email us your questions. Jared Levin is going to email us a question, he promised, at robsuckspodcast@gmail.com.
Pew pew.
You can find us on Spotify. We have a Facebook page. What are the other ones? Stitcher. Okay, never heard of it, but we're on Stitcher.
Yep.
And we're going to be on iTunes soon.
Anchor FM as well.
Anchor FM.
You can send voice note to us there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anchor FM. You should send us a voicemail message. That would be cool. Then we could play the voicemail message on the podcast. Dude.
Where else can I find you, Rob?
Did you see the buoy yet? Have you seen the buoy or land ho? What? I don't know. Oh yeah, YouTube.
What are you talking about?
We're on YouTube. You had
They know we're on YouTube.
You had you were wearing binoculars.
Oh, that's right. Our audio listeners could not hear what I was doing.
Oh, right. I forget we're on audio,
Yeah.
This is a fucking podcast, dude. This isn't a movie. But you should watch it because Greg is fucking ridiculous right now.
No, I'm not.
Why the fuck he's
very serious. That. Well, in the last episode,
he's making his hands like binoculars.
Well, because I'm looking to see where we can find you on social media.
Oh, I get it. Wow.
And you're taking forever to do that shit. So finish it out, man. Rob Tisdale, 77, Twitters.
Oh, yeah. You could also find us on Patreon.
Jesus.
Please.
Christ. Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, that was the show. Thanks for tuning in. I know Greg was like really boring this time and talked a lot, but we're going to have.
Because Rob sucks.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I love you.
Mwah!